Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Echo Live. My name is Paulette, coming at you live from the surface of Mars. Okay, I'm not really on the surface of Mars, but I was able to take this background and it's actually from a NASA website. And you're able to use a Mars photo booth to take a picture of yourself on Mars. Now, something that I did earlier, not only do I have my green screen behind me and I'm here on the planet Mars, but I also was able to take a picture of myself from a couple of years ago and put that in the background as well. So there is a way to find that Mars photo booth because today we're celebrating something that really awesome that happened. Does anyone know what happened at about 7:50 this morning? What do we think? What happened at 7:50 this morning? And if you're looking for that Mars photo booth website, you can check the chat. We just put that in there. But what happened at 7:50 this morning? If you follow the Michigan Science Center's Facebook page, you'll know exactly what happened. I'm seeing all sorts of friends coming back into our chat. If you're just joining us, make sure to introduce yourself in the chat. That's going to be the best way for you and I to talk to each other during our program today. So Evan from Texas said Mars Perseverance. That's right. Mars Perseverance launched this morning. And we're super excited about that rover launching to the surface of the red planet. So we have our Mars rover right here, Perseverance. And we are, like I said, super excited for this rover to get there. It kind of looks a lot like another rover on the surface of Mars, but that other rover was actually having some issues. So in 2012, does anyone know what rover landed on the surface of Mars? What rover in 2012 landed on the surface of Mars? It looks a lot like our new rover, Perseverance. It has another funny name, kind of like Perseverance. We have our rover Curiosity on the surface of Mars right now. Curiosity has been there since 2012, but Perseverance is actually on its way there. We had a successful launch this morning at 7:50, and it's going to take a couple of months for the Mars rover to get there. It's actually going to land on the surface of Mars February 18th, and we are so excited about that rover being able to land. Now, every 2 years or so, we have the opportunity to land a rover on the surface of Mars. Oh, so for those of you that missed this morning, we're going to go ahead and let's see if I can cue that on up. We're going to go ahead and take a look at that launch. So let me share my other screen there. So this was this morning, like I said, at 7:50, and you can actually go back and watch this on NASA's YouTube page. And there we have our rocket lifting off from the surface, successfully put out into space. So like I said, for those of you that follow our Facebook page, we did have a watch party this morning, and we'll probably have another watch party when it lands on the surface if we're able to. So this is just one of the many things that's happening when we're talking about the world of NASA and space exploration. So for those of you that don't know, I am a solar system ambassador. So that means that I get firsthand knowledge from NASA. I'm a volunteer. I get that knowledge and I'm able to share it with all of you. So here we have our Perseverance on its way off to the planet Mars. All right, so what is so exciting about Perseverance? What is so exciting about Perseverance? We already have rovers on the surface of Mars. So why are we so excited about this one that's heading to the surface right now? Well, one of the reasons that we're really super excited about this Perseverance rover is one, I'm not sure if you know, but the Curiosity rover, the one that's on the surface right now, actually has some major damage to its wheels. So engineers for the last couple of years have been trying to figure out how do we make it so that we don't get damage like that on the wheels of our next rover that we send there. For those of you that are here in the Southeast Michigan area, you might already be familiar with NASA Glenn. NASA Glenn is a research center in Cleveland, Ohio, just outside of Cleveland, Ohio. And they were specifically looking at how to fix the wheels on the Curiosity rover for the future. So one of the reasons we're super excited about this rover is so that we can have something on the surface that's able to run and roam a little bit better. We're also super excited about this because this rover has a helicopter. So let me go ahead and share my computer sound with us here so we can watch this video right here. So this is actually from NASA. Oops. And this is a demonstration of what Ingenuity would look like. So this is actually a helicopter. The Perseverance rover is going to be dropping off this helicopter. And then this helicopter is going to fly up into the air and be able to take soil samples from far away and also able to take some really awesome pictures. So this is the first time that we've sent something like this to Mars. Why do you think it's so hard for us to figure out how to get something like a helicopter to fly on the surface of the red planet? Why do we think it might be so hard for something like a helicopter to fly on the surface of Mars? What is Mars missing? Well, not necessarily missing, but there's less of something on Mars than there is here on the Earth, which makes it really, really hard for us to send an aircraft around the surface. So what does the Earth have an abundance of that Mars has much, much less of? What might be our obstacle when we want to send something like that flying in the air on the surface of Mars? We have some folks saying weather. Ellie says weather. Yeah, that's exactly right. Mars really doesn't have as much weather. It does have some wind and some dust storms and stuff like that, but it doesn't have a ton of air. Its atmosphere is much, much thinner than the one that we have here on the Earth. So it makes it really difficult for us to make things like aircraft because it doesn't really have much air. It also has uneven surfaces. That's right. And so that's one of the reasons why we wanted to make an aircraft instead of a rover, because those wheels got all broken up on Curiosity. And so we had to think of something a little bit different to still be able to travel far distances, but also be able to make sure that our equipment stays intact. So definitely Mars is missing a lot of air. It's much thinner atmosphere. So the fact that we actually have a helicopter on the surface of Mars, or we're going to have a helicopter on the surface of Mars, is actually pretty exciting, because like this is a feat of engineering, absolutely. So very interesting, and it was very hard for engineers to try and figure out how to make this happen. Now here on the Earth, we have helicopters that go up in the air pretty often. I know I live downtown Detroit, and so I see helicopters on basically a daily occurrence. And we can make something similar to a helicopter, a paper helicopter, with just materials that we might have at home. So for example, I just Googled paper helicopter and was able to get a cutout to be able to create a paper helicopter. Now these paper helicopters are actually super easy to make. You do have to cut out a little piece of it. So if you're doing this at home, ask for your parents' permission to help you find a template for paper helicopters, and ask for your parents' help to cut it out. So I'm just going to cut out our little paper helicopter right here. And it leaves us with something much smaller that we can then make a few more cuts and fold. So let me zoom in just a little bit. There we go. So you can see that a little bit better. So you can see that we have some solid lines and some dotted lines. The solid lines are to cut, the dotted lines are to fold. So we make the cuts just like we would. Remember, solid lines are, at least on this template, solid lines are cut, dotted lines are fold. We fold down the bottom. And I have made these without a template before, but it can be a little bit harder, and you have to use some engineering and design sort of that process where you try it and maybe try it again, because sometimes it doesn't always work. So here we have our paper helicopter. Again, let me see if I can get it here. Wants to focus on my buttons. All right, so here we have our paper helicopter, and with this, we can actually see what it does here on the Earth. So if I take this paper helicopter and I drop it, we can see a little bit of rotation. The trick with paper helicopters is actually to give them a little bit more mass or more weight. So adding a paper clip to the bottom is a really great way to do that. And you can actually just drop it down and it should start to rotate. I don't think I have enough distance between as high as I can reach and the table. Anna would probably do much better. She's a little bit taller than me. So we don't get the twisting quite right here, but if you try it at home, there we go. We got a little bit of twisting there. You might see it start to twist around. Now, if we did the opposite and we attached a motor to some rigid blades, then we would be able to twist it up and into the air. So paper helicopters are a really fun thing that you can do at home. Like I said, ask for your parents' permission to Google paper helicopter. You should be able to find a template online, and then of course make sure that you're always being safe with your pair of scissors. Never run with scissors and never hold them point out. Anna is very tall, much taller than I am, that's for sure. All right, so some of the other things that we have happening in the news right now are also super, super exciting. We have something happening on, Sunday. Does anyone know what's happening on Sunday? While you're thinking about that, I want to show you one more thing that they actually attached to the Perseverance rover. Something that we weren't expecting to have to attach in the first place. Now, during the building of Perseverance, a global pandemic started. They were really afraid that they weren't going to be able to finish the project and get the Mars rover off the ground in time. It actually ended up being right on schedule, and they added this right here to represent the global pandemic that we experienced. So this is actually on the surface, or on the outside of the rover, and this represents the global pandemic that we're going through right now. So if people see this rover in the future, they'll know approximately what time frame this rover was launched, in case we lose historical records or anything like that. All right, so what is happening on Sunday? And Evan has it right. The Crew Dragon lands on Sunday. And it doesn't just land, it splashes down. So from the US, we have been launching the shuttles for years and years and years and years. And then we stopped the shuttle mission in the early 2010s. 2011 was the last flight. And so we haven't done a splashdown from a US rocket in a long time, since before the shuttle missions, because those shuttles actually just landed kind of like an airplane with a much, much longer runway, of course. Crew Dragon was launched about 60-ish days ago. They're going to totally spend 64 days in space. And they're going to come back down on the Crew Dragon. So we'll be able to see what happens with that sort of splashdown. We have run experiments with Crew Dragon without humans in it, but this is the first time that we're going to be doing this with humans. And astronauts Bob and Doug have been fantastic sports. They were actually only supposed to go to the ISS for a couple of weeks. They were only supposed to be up there for like 1 or 2 weeks. They ended up having to stay up there a little bit longer. And on Saturday night, about 7:30, they should be undocking. If they undock at 7:30 on Saturday night, they'll be landing in the ocean at about 2:50 on Sunday afternoon. So there is a tropical storm that they're watching in the ocean. And so they want to make sure that that tropical storm is not going to cause any problems. So that tropical storm is supposed to come through this weekend. Hopefully it comes through earlier than this weekend, or a little bit earlier on in the weekend. And we are able to land when we plan to. But hopefully, it will detach from the space station on Saturday evening, and it'll splash down on the Earth Sunday afternoon. So super fun and exciting thing that is happening just this Sunday. Now, right before we found out that the crew was landing on Sunday, we found out something really cool that's happening in 2021. we found out that this is going to be the next crew that's going to be in the crewed dragon heading up. So as I said before, we only had two astronauts, Bob and Doug, and they went up in the crewed dragon to the International Space Station and are coming back down soon. But the Crew Dragon is actually supposed to hold 4 people. So the next iteration of testing happening in 2021, hopefully sometime in the spring, will be 4 of our astronaut guests heading back up to the into the International Space Station. So they are really excited for this, and this was announced just a couple of days ago. I'm not able to see my notes right now, so let's see. I want to make sure that I get their names correct. So for the next crewed dragon, they are going to be, let's see. Want to make sure I get their names right. They are going to be astronauts Shane, Megan. They'll be the spacecraft commander and pilot. And then there's going to be someone from JAXA, which is the Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency, and someone from the European Space Agency. We have Ahiko and Thomas. They're going to be sent up as well. So that is going to be a lot of fun for them and something for us to look forward to in the spring. Now, you might be wondering, what can I do here at home? Like, all this stuff is cool and happening, but it's happening either out in space or down in Florida. Our friend Evan is in Texas. And so there might be some things happening down in Texas that aren't happening here. For most of you, you might know that Mission Control is down in Houston. But you might be wondering, what can I do to celebrate this sort of space exploration? Now, there's a couple of things that you can do. If you're located in the Metro Detroit area, you can join us for our first Spark in the Park event this Saturday. We're going to be launching rockets and learning all about rocket engineering. Tickets are available on our website, so definitely check it out. Oh, and a fun fact, Megan MacArthur is actually astronaut Bob's wife. So he's coming down and she's heading right back up. So both of them have degrees in sort of aerospace engineering. So fun little fact about the two of them. Evan from Texas said he's been to Mission Control before. That is awesome. I've been to the Space Center, the Johnson Space Center in Houston, Texas, and I've been to Mission Control as well. That was a long time ago. I love to go back. I also really want to see a rocket launch. One of these days, I'm going to make my way down to Orlando, hopefully not during a global pandemic. So if you are not in the Metro Detroit area, there is something else that you can do. If you're not in the Metro Detroit area, you can be a Globe Observer. Now, Globe Observer is a part of NASA. It's actually an app created by some of the NASA scientists along with other scientists in the community. And this in particular is taking pictures of clouds. So you can take pictures of clouds and help them classify clouds and do that in the app itself. So you can download the app from the website and actually do some scientific research for yourself. I know I love doing scientific research for myself. I do these things called citizen science projects all the time, where I can participate in the science from just my smartphone. So check out the Globe Observer, and you'll be able to, like I said, look at clouds and also help to classify a lot of those clouds that are up there. So let me go ahead and stop my share for just a second because I have another demo for us today. I have something right here. We might have seen this before on Echo Live. This is something called Cloud in a Bottle. So inside of this bottle, I have just a little bit of isopropyl alcohol. Now, what I'm doing with this thing on top, this is called a fizz keeper. We can actually increase the amount of pressure inside of our bottle here. And when we increase the pressure inside of our bottle, we can create clouds. So we have our pressure. We're going to create a system of high pressure inside of this bottle. This is something that you can do at home as well, but please make sure to be safe when you do this. The fizz keeper can pop off when you take it off, so you have to be really careful when you're pulling off the fizz keeper. But it's just a fizz keeper that you can buy from the store, and just a little water bottle that we have. We happen to have a lot of these water bottles. We go through them a lot because we use them for different types of experiments and stuff like that here at the Science Center. But we can add pressure inside of our bottle. And then what we can do is we can take the top off of this. When we do that, we create a low pressure system. When we create the low pressure system, let me actually go ahead and turn off my virtual background for this. There we go. When we create that low pressure system, you might notice something happen to the alcohol inside. All right, I think I've pumped it up enough. Uh-oh, I might have pumped it up too much. What do you notice happened to the alcohol? Can we see it on camera a little bit? Inside of our bottle, we ended up with a cloud. So you can actually make a cloud at home using some things that you might have around your household. So I encourage you to check out that citizen science project. Try and take a picture of yourself on Mars using that photo booth, and absolutely join us for Spark in the Park. I'll be there too. I'm really excited to be able to launch some rockets outside. We'll be doing Alka-Seltzer rockets and straw rockets and stomp rockets and making all of our own stuff. So that's super exciting. You can register for that on our website. So if anybody has any questions, go ahead and type those in the chat. I'm going to take this moment right here to thank our sponsors for our Echo Live program, Ford and Denso. They've been allowing us to be able to do these Echo Live programs all summer long, and we'll continue to do them for the rest of this year. So our Echo Live programs are on Tuesdays and Thursdays during the summer at 2:30 p.m. Eastern time. Evan, you said you can't really see it. Definitely try it at home. It ends up being a little weird in the camera to be able to see that cloud. I was hoping it would be cooler, but that's all right. Sometimes science experiments don't necessarily go as planned. So we're really excited to be able to welcome you back in the building. Don't forget, the Michigan Science Center is also open for free all summer long. And we would love to see a lot of you here. I know I've seen a couple of folks that have been watching with us since the beginning. So we're happy to see a lot of those faces. And even if you live far away, that's okay. As long as you continue participating in Echo Live, Evan, I love seeing your name every day. So, all right. Do we have any other questions coming up? All right, not seeing any other questions. I want to thank everybody for joining us today. And I think that's everything. All right, keep looking up, keep looking out for really cool things happening in space, and I'll see everybody next week.